Today we're going to be talking about the most trending cuts and event styles of 2022, and I have a very special guest on the channel with me today, and that is hairstylist Paul Watts. Some of you guys may know about him already from his hair channel, Paul Watts Hair, but this guy is so much more than that, and that is why his channel is currently blowing up. Paul is a professional hairdresser, the owner of 2 salons, European color design team member for Joico, and an educator for Lee Stafford Education. He clearly has loads of free time. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Gabby, and I'm also a licensed hairstylist based out of Canada. My focus has always been on my work in fashion editorial, commercial print, and super glamorous event hair and makeup. I have done ad campaigns for Sears, Sport Check, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. I have worked on several magazine spreads, and now I am also here on YouTube helping you guys achieve the best hair of your life at home. Now that you know who your trend advisors are, we are going to be dividing this video into 2 really cool sections. So I'm going to be giving you the top styling trends, the top event styling trends, because that is what I do best, and Paul's going to be giving you the top hair cutting trends because he is a master with the scissors. Hey Paul, let's kick it off with you. What is the first haircut trend of 2022?
Hey everyone, so welcome to me, Paul Watts Hair. So I'm a UK hairdresser, UK YouTube hair YouTuber. I've been doing this now for just over a couple of weeks, just over 2 years, and this is something that I want to bring to you guys to educate. I do a lot of hair education, trend reports, how-to videos and all of that on my channel. So if that interests you, please hit that subscribe button, come and join me. And likewise, if you're on my channel watching this, head over to Gabby's channel. All the links are in the description below, because we truly appreciate you guys joining us on this journey. As Gabby said, our channels are blowing up right now, and it's really exciting to be able to bring to you, and it gives us this opportunity to collab as well, to bring you guys some videos for trend forecasting to help you when you head to your stylist, asking them, I want the biggest and best trend right now. I've seen it on Gabby and Paul's video, so it must be true. Right, let's get into it. First one that I'm really looking at and doing a lot in the salon is the bottleneck bangs. And the bottleneck bangs is something that suits most. When you look at the sort of traditional fringes, either blunt or something quite hard like micro fringes and that, they don't suit necessarily everybody, but the bottleneck bang is so soft and very much wearable, because the inspiration comes from like the bottleneck, so where it's like starts quite slim and then gets a little bit thicker, so you can think like starts a little bit shorter through here and then just really frames that face. So the bottleneck bang is something which is part of a haircut, but it's going to be a massive trend for 2022. Back to you, Gabby.
The first hairstyle trend that I am seeing absolutely everywhere is the Hollywood wave, and that, you know, I have a version of the Hollywood wave right now. It is absolutely beautiful. It's glossy, it's shiny, it's classic, it's timeless. It is something that is not going to get outdated. If you use this for your wedding, you can pretty much guarantee that this isn't a look that you're gonna see in 10 or 20 years and think, oh, that's so outdated now. With that said, it is actually a very challenging hairstyle to execute well, because it is nitpicky and very particular. I actually did an entire video about that, so if you're interested in that tutorial, then go ahead and watch that next. There are also some limitations to this style. Your hair needs to be unlayered. You can't have short layers at all for this style. If you have mid or short layers, it's not going to work. It's going to become disjointed or disconnected. You do also need extensions for scaffolding. You need that extension to create the base or the scaffolding of the style so that it stays and that it lays really pretty. And you do need hair that has higher density. You can get away with doing this style with lower density hair, with finer hair, if you have really high quality, great thick extensions, but you do have to make sure that you are not heavily layered. Heavily layered hair just doesn't work with the Hollywood wave. A lot of my clients that are getting the Hollywood wave like to slick one side back and add a really beautiful blingy accessory. I'm loving this look. I'm living for this look. I think it is just the winner of 2022. Back to you, Paul. What is the next haircut for this year?
Oh my God, Gabby, I love those looks that you are giving us. You are teasing us. So the next look that I want to bring to you guys is the stacked bob. And looking from a technical point of view, for a stylist of what to give somebody if they want a stacked bob, it is just a very blunt horizontal line all the way around. It can be a little bit A-line, or it could be just completely one length all around. And when you're putting in that sort of stacked, very blunt bob, when you curl it, you get it sort of lifting out, and it gives this sort of triangle effect. And I know a lot of people say, I don't want a triangular bob. But a stacked bob is different. You've got texture in there, you've got movement in there. And the thing with the stacked bob is it's just effortless. It's like, you can think a little bit sort of Chanel bob, but without the sort of layering to it. It's just very raw, and that's something that I'm really loving right now. It's just raw edges. When we're looking at cuts, it's point cutting a lot. When it comes to, with blunt cutting, you can still add that sort of point cut essence to when you're cutting it, as long as you're putting in a straight full line. And that's something that the stacked bob is going to really sort of thrive with and look really cool, because if you are putting in a very strong horizontal line but it's cutting with points, you're still putting in a straight line but cutting it in with your points of your scissors, it's going to add this sort of little frayedness to it. And when that lifts and you add a curl on top and it lifts and lifts and lifts, that's what gives it that beautiful silhouette. Back to you, Gabby.
The next trend that I want to talk to you about is the ponytail. Ponytails are back, and they are everywhere. The super sleek ponytail is the first one that I want to talk to you guys about. This ponytail is characterized by having that front section really slick. And I mean slick, like gelled all the way back. Now the ponytail itself can be straight, it can be waved, it can be curled, lots of options for how you style the ponytail, but the front of that hair is characterized really by that sleek style. We could do the front all back, or you could do the front parted. Middle parts are huge right now, so you could definitely middle part it and pull it back. That is a super modern way of doing this ponytail. If you're not into having really slick hair at the front, and there are many people who don't like that really slick look at the front, then you can do this other ponytail that is trending. Now this ponytail is fluffy. You have pieces out through the front. The ponytail itself is really fluffy. It's very whimsical. I've been seeing it with lots of braided elements, but the key thing about this ponytail is that it is soft, it's romantic, it's textured, and it's flowy. What is next in the UK hair world, Paul?
Thank you, Gabby. These trends are unbelievable. I'm loving all the styling tips. As a hairdresser in the UK, I do a little bit of styling, but it's not my forte. My forte is cut and color, and with sort of like the styling element all entwined. I do love styling hair, but it's not something I would go and be booked for. I would be booked for color work or cutting work. The next cut that I want to bring to you is the Bixi, and the Bixi is an interpretation of a bob and a pixie, and when you're mashing them together, so there's a lot of internal shortness, a lot of frayed edges, something that's just wild and free. You've got this sort of lived in look, and that's another term that I love to use. If you go to your hairdresser, ask for something a little bit lived in. Really easy to manage, really easy to style, something you can wake up and go, or if you're going on a night out, you can tuck behind the ears and give a little bit of sort of sassiness to it. But the Bixi is where you can have these sort of fringes, like the pixie fringe, but then as it gets a little bit towards the ears or around the back, and where you've got this sort of just softness, that's where the bob essence comes into it, or the bob look comes into it. So with the Bixi, you want to be looking at obviously the bob and the pixie. The pixie is very short, but then bobs can be short, but bobs can also be long. So where you are sort of mashing the two together, you are creating something which can be quite versatile. If somebody wants to tuck it behind the ears but have a really short fringe, then you want to put that sort of bobness throughout the perimeter, and then the internals maybe a more pixie. Or if somebody wants a lot more height and volume, that's where the bob can come in, and then the perimeter could be pixied off, and that could be nice and tight and short, graduated through there, but then you've got this height and then disconnection through the top. Bixies just look super cool worn as if they're styled, got out of bed, sprayed down with water, or getting your favorite products in, blow drying it, styling it, straighteners, tongs, whatever you want to do, but Bixies are a super cool cut for 2022.
The next trend that I am seeing a lot of is the ethereal braid, or sometimes called the mermaid braid. Now, this is kind of a mix of Viking meets fantasy meets like garden party fairy princess. That's the only way that I can describe it. You mesh all of those things together and you get the ethereal braid. There are so many different ways to do this braid, but it has a few key factors that are always the same. You always have a lot of loose pieces through the front that are softly curled. So that is one part of it that I see in every single type of ethereal braid, no matter how it's been done. I also love that it almost gives the illusion that the hair is down because it's done so softly at the back. All right, Paul, go.
Love that, Gabby. I love all these styling and hair up tips. So let's look at the next one. So my last trend for this video is the bespoke or tailored layers. And when we look at layers, we want them to be sort of loosening up the hair or giving a different dimension to the hair. But when we're looking at tailored bespoke layers, what we want to be doing is putting in really blunt lines so it holds that density and weight down the bottom to make the hair look really healthy. Because I think nothing looks healthier than a nice strong baseline. But these tailored layers sort of cascade through, cut bluntly, because we see a lot of layers in 2021 which were sort of frayed in the wolf cuts and shags. We've seen where they were sort of tipping out a little bit, and they were beautiful. Don't get me wrong, beautiful. And if you're still wearing it for 2022, I love it. But I'm just giving you a trend forecast for what I'm going to be thinking about doing for 2022, and I'm already doing in salon. So these layers are to hold weight and density down the bottom, because that gives that sort of sign of fullness and health and volume within the hair. And when we are putting them in lower, it holds that weight, but also when we get to blow dry, big and bouncy, we get to tong, or we can do some magic with our straighteners to add that curl and dimension, they just pop. And because they're cut blunt, it holds that weight to it, so they look really striking when worn through the hair. Back to you, Gabby.
The last trend that I want to talk to you about has been around for a while, but I am still doing this a lot, and that is that low, loose, soft bun updo. Now, this can be done straight, where the hair is just fanned and textured out, but it is all straight, or it can be done with lots of wave, or it can be done with a ton of texture and lots of curls, but we always have the same themes throughout this hairstyle. And one of them is that you have quite a bit of height at the crown area. We also have lots of cascading pieces through the front, and the bun itself is really soft and romantic. I am also noticing in the bun of this updo that a lot of people are loving having cascading curls kind of falling out of the bun, so looking rather undone. Now, this is quite challenging, and you really do need to go to someone that really understands and is an expert in updos, because you need to make sure that the whole thing has perfect symmetry and balance within the shape and within your face shape and within your look, but is also undone and textured. Messy and textured and undone are different. You almost want like a perfect mess, which is quite challenging. But man, when you find the stylists that can do that, it's quite a gift, because it looks so amazing and so beautiful.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first collab. If you've enjoyed it, thumbs up, hit both subscribe buttons if you're coming from me. If you're coming from Gabby, welcome. I truly appreciate you watching this and taking your time out, and then look forward to what we've got coming more with some more collaboration videos. And I'll see you guys very soon.